Am I the a-hole for having second thoughts about marrying my fiancé after a drunk comment? Not sure why I'm even here. Guess I'm still trying to process what my 27M fiancé drunkenly admitted to me 30F last night. For context, my fiancé, who I'll refer to as Alex, and I have been together for just under 2 years and got engaged in December. Everything has been a blast since the day we met, and we keep surprising each other with just how awesome of a couple we can be. Last night we had a special date night for New Year's planned where we dressed up like bowlers from the 1970s and bowled our asses off for a few frames until we finally decided on a winner. During the 5 games we ended up drinking 2 of those beer towers, about 7 beers each altogether. He's not a big drinker, so he was a little more than tipsy when we decided to call it a night and head home. We live really close by, so we walked to and from the bowling alley since we figured we were going to be drinking. On that 15-minute walk home he was doing the usual mushy, "I love you," and other cute little things he told me while giggling. Things took a bit of a turn when he started talking about how much he enjoys our sex. He's always told me that we have amazing sex and that he can't get enough, but in his drunken state, he told me something different. "You're the 3rd best that I've ever had." I stopped walking for a second and just stared at him in disbelief. Alex just looks at me, giggles again and kisses me. Thinking he was just saying that on purpose to agitate me a bit like he does but not really mean it, I laugh it off and we keep walking. Once we get home and sit on our front porch he brings it back up. "I really do mean it though, babe. You're amazing, but I have had better before you." I was as confused as I was mad, embarrassed, and offended all at the same time. I asked him what the hell he was saying to me and if he was being serious. He started crying and told me that he had a one-night stand before he met me with some woman that was like a sex goddess. He also mentioned a past fling with a guy when they were both teenagers and experimenting with drugs. Both of these confessions took me completely off guard, because he never in our time together mentioned anything about being bi-curious or anything like that, let alone promiscuous sex. My commitment to Alex is starting to change now though, and I've not been able to look at him all day and avoided him. I'm having second thoughts about following through with a marriage if he'll always think of me as a 3rd-place prize. Even if I did think there was something about Alex that wasn't as good as a past relationship, I wouldn't openly tell him that I thought he wasn't as hot, handsome, has a small dick, etc. That just seems kinda mean and feels a little malicious or petty. Update 2 days later. So Alex tried to apologize. The morning after we went out he pretended everything was okay, and was as sweet with me as usual, but I was short with him and ignored his texts all day leaving for work. When we both got home in the evening I still couldn't even look at him and so he asked me what was wrong and I told him. Apparently he hardly remembers a thing after we finished bowling. He recalls walking home and saying some things he felt embarrassed about and then sitting outside and cuddling with me on the porch. I told him exactly what I remember him saying and he looked mortified. He apologized profusely and told me I'm the only person he slept with and ever cared this much about, but I told him he'd humiliated me and made me feel like I was the problem and needed some time apart, so he volunteered to go stay with his brother to give me some space. He's since spent the rest of the evening and today trying to make it right, leaving voicemails and texting that he really didn't mean to hurt me, and that he was drunk and stupid. He kept reiterating that I'm the best thing that's happened to him, and the sex he had before was meaningless and that, "You're my number one as far as anyone I've slept with that matters." It just made me madder. Like he's now lying to save face and trying to manipulate me into feeling like I'm overreacting after making me feel like a lesser partner in bed. I finally told him to stop and told him I didn't believe a word he said anymore and that even if he's being sincere, nothing he says will undo the fact that deep down he'll always think of me as a consolation prize to some sex goddess and his male buddy. I'm honestly also second-guessing if he even likes women, and I'm not ready to deal with being with someone who's questioning their sexuality. He started crying again, and said he just wanted to open up to me since we've never had the conversation about previous partners and in his drunk state he thought we were at that point where we could have honest conversations, but regrets the timing and letting it slip while drunk. He said he'd move out and leave me alone but hopes I won't share what he told me with family and mutual friends, which I agreed to. I don't feel bad about ending things. He clearly didn't think before speaking, and now he's just trying to patch it up and minimize it as mistake, an attempt at an honest conversation, when I know he's just trying to lower my self-esteem and make me feel like I need to turn into a sex goddess in bed or be more like a man. I've realized my self-worth and I'm no one's bronze medal. I appreciate all of the comments and kind words on the last post helping me realize this. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I cannot believe this guy tried to twist this into his being honest and opening up to her. This reads like these weird posts where men say that you should never open up to a woman because she'll pull away if she thinks you're vulnerable. Also interesting that initially he had no recollection of what he'd said, and then changed to his wanting to be open and honest. Commenter 2. Wait until OP comes back with an update saying that he is spreading terrible lies about her when explaining to people why they broke up. Oopie. I was worried about this but fortunately so far it sounds like he's just told mutual friends that he made a huge mistake while drunk. One of them reached out to me and thinks he cheated and told me I deserve better so I'm just not gonna deny it and leave it at that at this point. Commenter 2. Look, there are a few things going on here. 1. Alex drunkenly said something on purpose to agitate me a bit like he does. He has a track record of riling you up, I'm assuming both drunk and sober. Not great. 2. He chose to use his real, true, honest opinion of your prowess to do so. Not great. 3. He revealed he's bisexual. We're well past bi-curious if he's ranked this guy at number 2 all that time. You don't have to worry about dealing with him questioning his sexuality. He put a woman at number 1 and a guy at number 2, so end of story, bisexual. He's obviously been avoiding telling you for a long time, and he only did it while he was plastered, so it's pretty likely he's been afraid to tell you. And if you have a problem with dating/marrying a bisexual person, well, there's a word for that, and he was right to be afraid. Assuming you're so is instantly going to cheat and turn out to be gay/dump you for a person of another gender on the big reveal is prime biphobia. And a very common experience for bi people, especially men, so there's every chance you're not the first. So in short, you've got a couple of issues on number 1 and 2, a guy who likes to rile you up for fun, and was willing to put you down to do so, but on 3, you're kind of the asshole. And remember, there's every chance he used this whole your third best routine as a very roundabout, stupid, awkward way of bringing up his sexuality, and you could probably find out if you straight up ask him why he never told you sooner. If you're willing to lose an awesome relationship because you're not willing to be with someone bisexual, that's your loss. Oopie. He told me he's never been attracted to men and that one experience as a teenager was his only time being sexual with a man, and he thinks the reason it came out while drinking is that he rarely gets drunk or does drugs these days, and his state that night made him remembered how it was a surprisingly good experience and made him want to experiment with prostate stimulation more. I don't know if I believe him, but even if it's true, it kinda gave me the ick to think about him liking that type of stuff. Did OP give the ring back to her ex and move on? Oopie. He told me to keep the ring and hoped we could at least stay amicable long term.